How's that look? Want to see the screen?
Yippers.
You can see
Great. Okay, cool. Yeah, my challenge, Exercism challenge, was called the tournament. It was under the easy section, although I think I found it a little bit tougher than that. The main point of it, what was required, was to tally the results of a small football competition who all seemed to love alliteration. So there was devastating donkeys, allegoric Alaskans, blithering badgers, courageous Californians. And I typed that out before Nathan pointed out to me that I should have just copied and pasted it. So good lessons to learn. But based on an input file containing which team played against which and what the outcome was, create a file with a table like the one you can see down there. And again, I was going to complain about the formatting issues I had, but I can only imagine what it was like to use all those emojis in every single map. So the input file looked a bit like this. So you can see on each line that was the two teams that played each other, and then the final thing was the result of that. So the first line, for example, the allegoric Alaskans beat the blithering badgers. So whatever the result was refers to team one, and team two was obviously the reverse of that. You get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and obviously 0 points for a loss. And if I go back to the previous slide, you can see there's a matches played one as well. And yeah, it was complicated. It couldn't just make it so a team got 3 points when it won. You also had to add in the team that came second gets points for the loss. For example, courageous Californians, blithering badgers had a loss. The lessons I learned from it, I learned a lot. Here doc was a good one. For example, I actually stole that from the Exercism tests, which is a great way to start learning. Dot tap, I put that in there, although I would like someone possibly to give me a better rundown of it. Yeah, using the tests to guide you when you're stuck. Always keep Googling, which is something I keep learning and keep forgetting. And like I say at the end of there, if this is an easy exercism, I hate to think what the hard one is. So if I can only have 5 minutes, so we'll go straight to the code rather than taking screenshots of it and that sort of thing. I'm just going to try and remove that. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so get rid of that. So you can see, well, if we go to the tournament test, it kind of guided what to do next. So test for, a header with no input. And what I was referring to, what I stole from the test was this little symbol here with the 2 arrows and the tilde there. It's actually called the here doc. And it means, so you can call that whatever you like. And it means whatever's in between the title there, it will keep the format in the string. So if I go to where I put it in here, yeah, it keeps a multi-line string in the correct form. Initially, you can actually, instead of using a tilde, you can just use a dash like that. The issue with that is that it does actually take these indentations into account. So when I ran it that way, it gave me all sorts of errors. You can see, yeah, that's what it actually came out as. But if you swap that to a tilde, everything passes again. So firstly, initialized all the team progress. So you can see got the played, won, lost, draw, and points in there. And then followed up with a heading called header, obviously. So that's how I got the team, matches played, win, draw, loss, and points. And then tallied the progress using just a simple if-else statement. I am positive that there is a more efficient way of doing this. But you can see, without sort of boring you too much, I did, so if you win, you can see here that you have to add played to both teams. The team that won has to get 3 points, and if with the draw, everyone gets 1 point. Else, obviously, the second team won, not the first team. So you flip around which team, the team 2 gets the 3 points in that one. Because they're all just adding 1, but all but 2 of them, I'm sure I could do this better. Or if anyone has any ideas, I'd love to hear them. But yeah, that's how I managed to do that. Following down, formatting the table of contents. So this is the one that sort of I learned the most from. We'll sort of talk about, yeah, so just splitting the line obviously was fairly standard. And then I used dot select to make it so the teams that have played get printed out before the teams that haven't played. So if you go the select method, it was obviously a way of sorting it. And we'll, yeah, so if I go to dot select team progress and then progress played more than 0, it will spit out those teams first. With the dot sort by, I've used dot sort before, but never used dot sort by, which was useful because it was a number. So with the sort by method, it can sort the array by a number. I initially didn't have this little minus sign in front of the progress. I can show you, I think, a little bit of what that does using the tests. It just counts it, the smaller number first and then the bigger number. So it does the 0 and then the 3. But if I put a minus in there, then it counts highest number to lowest number, which is obviously what you want for a competition table. Also, while searching that dot sort by method, I learned that you can, I did have the code like this, which is obviously messy or a lot harder to read. And in the Ruby guides with the example it gave it, yeah, it did it like this and made it a lot cleaner, which I quite liked. With the, when you map the contents, I use this dot tap method. I Googled it. So it allows you to insert extra operations before any other code executes. So in other words, it allows you to do something with an object inside of a block and then always have that block return the object itself. So it was developed to sort of create ways for tapping into method chains. So you can see for each line, I did this 31 minus team.size. Again, that was just for formatting. So I had, in that space, I counted 31 characters from, the start of the table to where matches played was. And so I had to put that in minus the team size in order to get the matches played and the wins, losses, all that sort of thing to line up. And then I use this dot join, which turns this array into a string, which you can then put into the final output. This def self.tally was from the tournament test. And then, yeah, it says use the dot tap thing again to output the football.header. This was called football underscore competition because that's what this said. But I couldn't, I had to take it out because football.header works so well. And then obviously football.content. So the football.header, as a reminder, was literally just this thing using a here doc. And then the content was how the stats was displayed. And yeah, that's sort of how it works. You can see down the bottom here, the tests work, but I'd like to go back to it to understand this dot tap thing a little bit more. And yeah, that's my summary. Thanks for listening, guys.